Hi, I'm Natalie, a graduate student at the University of Wyoming in the Agricultural and Applied Economics Department. I'm here to go over some important considerations to keep in mind when evaluating the economics of an off-grid renewable energy system, and then we'll walk through an example similar to Bob's. Please remember that individual circumstances play an important role in the cost of a system. Energy consumption, energy efficiency, and the local resources will determine the final cost of your system. In remote areas far from transmission lines, it might be immediately obvious that it will be more cost-effective to go off-grid than it would be to connect to the power lines. However, the closer you are to the grid, you might need to take a closer look. With so many analysis tools out there, it might be difficult to decide which is better suited for helping you identify the economic feasibility of a standalone off-grid system. Today, I'll go over two of these analysis tools, Simple Payback and Total Lifecycle Costing. Let's start by defining some of the assumptions that will be used throughout our analysis. All investment analysis tools rely on some assumptions, and these assumptions are going to affect the decision. In off-grid economic analysis, you will see operations and maintenance cost assumptions, escalation rates, and the discount rate. The first is self-explanatory, but the discount rate might be new. It allows us to account for the time value of money, which is the reality that $1 today is worth more than that same dollar in the future. For example, $1 today can be invested. $1 in the future has lost the opportunity to be invested. Although we won't use escalation in today's calculations, an escalation rate is a percentage estimate of how much the electricity price will increase each year. Now that we have covered the fundamentals, we can begin our analysis starting with Simple Payback. Simple Payback is a widely requested tool of investment analysis. Simple Payback estimates the length of time required for an investment to pay for itself. With renewable energy investments, Simple Payback determines the number of years it will take for the energy savings to add up to the total cost of the system. Simple Payback can be calculated as the total installed cost of the system divided by the energy savings per year. Installed cost is the total system cost minus any incentives. Annual energy savings is equal to kilowatt hours produced per year times the market price for electricity in your area. Using figures consistent with Bob McGovern's case, we can compare the simple payback between a hybrid off-grid system and connecting to the utility grid. For a 6 kilowatt hour a day system, we have a system cost of $20,170 minus any incentives. For this example, we are using a hypothetical rebate of $2,000 for a total installed cost of $18,170. Obtain a connection quote from your utility. Costs generally range from $20,000 to $30,000 per mile. For this example, we'll use $25,000. For our example 6 kilowatt hour a day system, the annual energy savings is 6 kilowatt hours a day times 365 days for a total of 2,190 kilowatt hours a year, multiplied by the utility price of 8 cents for annual savings of $175.20. This savings will be the same for the utility connection. Although it might seem strange to call your utility bill a benefit, you are receiving a service from which you derive a benefit from. Dividing the installed cost of each alternative by the energy savings gives us simple paybacks of approximately 104 and 143 years to recover the initial cost of the investment. Here, simple payback for both are very long, but the off-grid system appears to be shorter. Unfortunately, Simple Payback, although heavily requested, falls short as an evaluation tool. It's too simple. You will notice it does not account for time value of money, which, as we said before, accounts for the fact that $1 today is worth more than that same dollar in the future. It also does not consider the total economic life of the investment, in particular, what happens after payback. Finally, it doesn't include other potential costs and savings, for example, operations and maintenance costs, or the energy price escalation from your utility. One alternative approach to payback is to estimate the total life cycle cost of alternative investments. Total life cycle cost estimates the present value of all the costs associated with an investment or activity. This ensures that the selection is not based solely on the lowest initial cost, but also considers all future costs appropriately discounted over the life of the investment. When choosing between alternatives, the one with the lowest total life cycle cost generally is the best economic choice. This approach is a little more complex, but it can address all the problems associated with payback and is the more appropriate choice. Total life cycle cost of an energy alternative is equal to the installed cost plus the present value of all future operation and maintenance expenditures. present value of all future operation and maintenance costs can be calculated by multiplying the expected annual operation and maintenance expenses by an appropriate present value of an annuity factor. The present value annuity factor determines the present value of a stream of equal expenses over a specified time period, given an assumed discount rate. Using the same figures as we did for Payback, we have initial costs, installed costs for off-grid, of $18,170 and the utility connection of $25,000. To find the present value of all expenses expected to occur over the life of the system, we use a general assumption for annual operation and maintenance costs figured between 1 to 3% of the total installed cost. For this example, the annual operation and maintenance costs are $201.70. The present value annuity factor was found by assuming a 30-year expected system life and a 4% real discount rate, which from the table is a factor of 17.29. Multiplying this present value annuity factor by our annual operation and maintenance, we arrive at $3,487.80. This is the present worth of all the operation and maintenance costs. Repeating the present worth of expenses for connecting to the utility, we calculate the annual operation and maintenance cost to be your annual utility bill, which for this example is $175, multiplied by the same present value annuity factor for a total present value of $3,093.94. With the installed cost and present value of operation and maintenance estimated, the total life cycle cost is simply the sum of the two. In this example, the total life cycle cost for the off-grid system is a little more than $21,000, while the total life cycle cost for connecting to the utility grid is a little over $28,000. This suggests that the off-grid renewable energy system, providing the same amount of electricity, would save more than $6,000 over the next 30 years. Although life cycle cost analysis is a solid evaluation tool, it is sensitive to the discount rate, and there is no single discount rate that makes sense in every case. There are a lot of factors that come into play in deciding whether it is economically feasible to go off-grid. Sometimes it can be as simple as how far you are away from the transmission lines, but other times it will take accounting for all the costs on both sides in present value dollars to make the correct financial decision. For more information on renewable energy, you can go to the University of Wyoming Cooperative Extension website at ces.uwyo.edu.